ability to, oh, look at that. Did you guys hear that? Christine, did you hear that? You're the only person I can see. This meeting is being recorded. So just in case you all didn't know, I do record the classes so that we can have them up online. That's a new.
I have a message that says it in front of me too.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, that's a new feature of Zoom, I guess. Always changing. That's good. Very direct and transparent. I like that. Okay. So let's sit. Come into a comfortable seat and allow yourself to drop in. So whatever kind of guarding you've been holding for whatever reason, whether it's an injury or something global like the pandemic or anything, if there's been a sense of guard within you, what can you do while you're here, safe in your own home? Like, right? You're just here. So let's see if we can drop some of those tension patterns that protection provides and come into a more graceful state of ease. So relax your shoulders. Feel the grounding nature of your sit bones. Widen across your pelvis. Maybe go back and forth a little bit or left and right and just feel where you are in your pelvis. And feel the upright, stout nature of your spine. And can you do this with a sense of freedom and ease instead of push? Widen across your collarbones and feel as though the shoulder blades can just drape a bit down the back. Maybe even try turning the palms open so that you can open the windows of your humerus bones, that joint, that the shoulder joint. Can you open the door there and let some space come in? And then melt and relax your face, your skull, the base of your skull. And just check in. Are you creating more relaxation in your body, more stability in your body? Or are you creating more tension? Once you come to a seat that's comfortable for you, let's find our way into the breath. Without manipulating or trying to necessarily be in doing pranayama, just see if you can explore the feeling of breath. How the breath feels moving through your nose, swirling around in your sinuses, dropping down, filling your lungs. The way your body receives, the way your ribs move, your muscles move to open yourself to receive breath. The feeling of your diaphragm as it rises and falls. When you touch in to explore sensation around the breath, see if you can do so without changing too much. So see if you can just catch a little glimpse of a more natural way of breathing. It's very difficult to catch your normal breath. We change, we tend to give more sway to the breath when we notice it. We're going to do a little bit of manipulation of the breath today, but first we're going to practice, and then we'll do some pranayama toward the end. So let's just have the sense that the breath is our guide. So as we start to move in a moment, can you let the breath be your paramount intention today, that you follow where the breath can take you and not stray down a pathway that the breath isn't going. Place your palms together at your heart and find a stout upward heart. Bow in. What is your intention? Maybe it's something about opening yourself up from the protection that you've cultivated. Maybe it has nothing to do with that and it's something else. And then let's go ahead and release your hands down and find your way onto your back. Okay, so let's lie down and see if you can get the feeling that your joint spaces are open, that there's lots of room. And even if you're working with an injury or a part of your body that's hurting, can you offer the feeling of space? Can you offer the feeling of relaxation, openness, softness into that place in your body? All right, now let's stretch. Arms overhead if it feels good. Lengthen the left, lengthen the right. Just wake up and feel the sense of connection you have with your muscles, with the full body from fingers to toes. And does it feel good even just to do this, even just to stretch like a morning stretch? Okay, and then bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. Check in. Let your whole spine from your head to your tail rock side to side. And let yourself be soothed by this. All right, and then circle the knees. Feel into your pelvis, the movement of your hips. Go the other way. Okay, and then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Give a good squeeze. Move your ankles around and open up your joints, all the little joints of your toes as well as your ankles. How's your breath? Remember, we're taking ourselves for a breath ride. There's nowhere we're going without the breath. Left knee in, right leg long on the floor, and feel free to move around again. Don't forget to have a little squeeze. So compress into the hip joint as much as you're opening the other one up. And then 2 knees in and pull your knees apart from each other and swing them back in. And notice the feeling in your back, your pelvis, your SI joints, your hip joints, your inner thighs. Everything's kind of moving a little bit. All right, and then stretch your legs straight on the floor. We're going to banana our body a little bit. So walk your legs over to the left and scoot your shoulders and your arms over to the left as well. And just feel some stretch through the right side of your body. You can cross one ankle over the other if you feel like it. You can hook your thumbs if you feel like it. Just see where your body's at. Try not to let your shoulder or your hip leave the floor. See if you can stay grounded. Find the breath. And then come back to center, over to the other side. So legs go over to the right, arms, shoulders go over to the right. Just create a little curve in your body. Stretch your left shoulder and hip into the floor. Where is it easily going and where is it maybe a little blocked or a little stuck? And then come back to center. Cactus, open the arms, bend your knees down the ground, or not so much, maybe one side, not the other. Just see where your range of motion is for opening the chest a little bit. And then we're going to roll over onto our right side and bring our knees to touch, bring your hands to touch, come at right angles. Inhale, open up the chest, stretch open your arm, reaching back, turn your head. Exhale and come back to touch. A couple more times. Inhaling, taking the breath, open your body. Exhale and find that sense of condensement. Okay, and then let's go ahead. Roll onto your back, starfish yourself open, spread out your arms and legs, exhale, knees into your chest, chin up. Okay, and one more time, open things out, spread to your fingers and toes, we'll give them a little wiggle, exhale and draw it in, roll over onto your other side. Okay, knees are together, hands are together. Let's start to awaken and open, so opening your chest, bringing your arms, spread open your wings, and then exhale and come back to close your hands up. You can always put a blanket or a block under your head if you need a little support. last third time, opening the chest up, spread out your hand, turn your head, and then relax. Let's roll all the way back over onto our back. One more starfish, spread out your body. Exhale, knees into your chest, and then roll over onto your right side. And come on up. Roll out your wrists here for a moment. Spread out your fingers. And then as you're ready, place your hands down onto your mat. And let's start moving through some cat-cows. So arching and rounding the spine. Take your time. Where do you want to breathe? Where does the inhale want to be in the movement of your body? Where does the exhale want to be in the movement of your body? So try to remember that there's no right answers. There's only breath to be explored. So, some things may feel more intuitive to have an inhale attached to it, while other things might feel more intuitive to have an exhale attached to it. But everybody's a little different, and sometimes what the body needs on different days is different. So if I tell you to inhale one way, but you'd prefer exhaling, then by all means, remember we're listening to the breath today, every day, but especially today. All right, so swirl your pelvis around, move your shoulders, any kind of freedom or spaciousness you can find is great. Follow your breath. Inhale, lift the left arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Open the back rib cage up and notice your breath here. Where is it going easily? Where not so much? All right, great. And then inhale, reach that arm back up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground and change sides. Arm lifting up. Take a deep breath. Exhale, drop that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. See if you can relax your neck. Move your shoulders away from the ears. And notice what the breath does. So much of the time we pay attention to the breath in the front of our chest. And let's open up the back body a little bit and feel into how the breath moves back there as well. Inhale, reach the arm all the way up to the sky. Maybe you want to exhale to do that. Who knows? Place the hand down onto the ground and find dog pose. All right, so as you come into this first full body posture here, grounding, find your yielding. So feel the floor, feel where your hands and feet are touching the earth. Are you grounded through the square of your hand? Do you have enough pressure on the index finger and thumb mounds balancing out the outer hands? How about your feet? Can you spread across the knuckles of your toes? Spread into the mounds of your toes. Lift your heels, maybe pedal one heel down and then the other, awakening the back of your Achilles, your calves. How's your breath? When you get caught up in the sensations of other parts of your body and turn away, it's sometimes hard to keep the light shining on what the breath rhythm is doing. So as much as you can, come home to that feeling of a beautiful inhale, the completeness of an exhale, and even the little pauses that hang out in between the two parts of the breath. All right, let's walk our feet forward, come into Uttanasana. Okay, fold in half. Bend your knees as much as you want. Okay, feel the spine, lengthen the spine, let it cascade toward the floor. Feel free to wag your tail, your shoulders, your head can bob. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine is growing. Root into the big toe mounds, the pinky toe mounds, the inner and outer heels. Reach the arches all the way up into the inner thighs, the outer hips. Feel the sit bones lift and widen. And get your blocks if you can, so that you can really find the length and space through your spine. While we're hanging out here in a half lift, notice the breath. And then release and bend your knees. Climb all the way up. Arms coming up to the sky. Open your chest. Spread out your wings. Spread out your fingers if you want. And then round in. Tuck your chin toward your chest. Take your feet wide. And we're going to do this with an open chest if it feels good. So as you swing to one side, spread open the wings there. So see if you can get your pecs to loosen a little bit, as well as the place where your vertebrae and your rib cage attach in the back. So just loosen up all these places where breath needs to go. You can go as slow or as fast as you want. And then relax and wiggle your rib cage around. Just see what kind of feels good. Take a deep breath. Open the heart. Lean back a little bit. Exhale and circle your arms around. Shake out your hands. All right, and then let's interlace your fingers behind your back. Open across the front of your chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit more toward each other. Spread across your collarbones. Bend your knees and lift your arms away from the spine wherever they go. Let the head relax. Soften. And then release your hands down onto the ground. Halfway lift again. Sit bones high and wide. Ground the four corners of your feet. Exhale and release and melt. Step your left foot back. Right foot comes forward. Move with breath. So let's bend your front knee as you find a part of the breath. And then straighten your front leg a bit more as you find the other half of the breath. Okay, so don't worry so much about how far you're going in your stretching, and instead just think about how is the breath taking you where you need to go. All right, making room for breath. Open the chest, rise up, see where you want your body to be. Maybe making room for breath means your arms are up. Maybe for you, it's a cactus or arms out to the sides, maybe even your hands back or hands on your hips. So make room for your breath. What's going to be the best position for your body right now for the openness of your inhales, the fullness of your exhales? All right, let's go ahead and place the back knee down onto the ground. Come into a long lunge. So, let that front foot creep out forward as much as your body's comfortable with. And then open up the chest here. You can keep your hands on blocks or on the floor. You can even bring your hands onto your knee. Try not to hang into the pelvis, so stabilize front heel, back knee support as they hug toward each other. And then rise up. Either take your right hand on your knee and just stretch your left arm over, or if you feel stable enough, you can take two hands up. So just make sure you're not falling and collapsing into the lumbar spine. Stabilize yourself as much as possible, and then open the rib cage up. How's the breath? And we're going to find ourselves moving into a twist to take the forearm onto the knee or past the knee. You can even take your elbow to the outside of the knee, whatever feels good, and lift the spine. Feel free to take the back knee off of the floor or keep it grounded, whatever feels good. Open up the hip flexors. It's a big piece. The psoas muscle and the diaphragm have a lot of strong relationships with each other. So the more we can free up the hip flexors, the psoas, the more likely we can unravel some of the tension around our diaphragm. Big, huge breaths here. And then let's release and relax. Go ahead and come back onto all fours. Have a moment, just let the body settle back into some symmetry. Feel free to swirl and swish and sway or cat-cow, whatever feels good. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the left foot forward. Lift up the back knee. You can have your hands on blocks and start to move with breath. As you bend your front knee, would you like to inhale or exhale? As you straighten-ish the front leg, would you like to inhale or exhale? What's natural to you? Where does your breath want to come? The most important thing you can do is just to allow yourself to breathe. So much of our protection, our guarding, really lands in an unconsciousness around holding the breath. Either holding the in-breath or even holding the out-breath, not letting the out-breath come all the way out. So just let your breath flow. Detach a little bit from expectations about what the pose should be or what you should be doing, and instead bring all of your attention to how you're breathing. Come up when you're ready. Crescent lunge. Decide where do you want your arms to be? What's going to give you the best sense of capacity for a healthy, calm, easeful breath. So for some people, that's arms up because the rib cage expands and opens. For some people, arms down because it's a little bit more easy across the neck and shoulders. Remember those accessory muscles of breathing up in our neck? We want to keep them calm. See if you can let the diaphragm be the primary mover of your breath. Is your belly moving? It should be moving a little bit. Let the transverse abdominis work with the diaphragm. Go ahead and come down. Place your knee onto the ground when you're ready. Stabilize your legs, front heel and back knee supporting each other. Rise up. Decide where you want your arms to be. So you can have just one arm lifting up and over, or you can have two arms lifting up and over. So whatever you're choosing, are you able to stabilize the lower body? Are you able to breathe well? So if you have two arms up and suddenly your breath is caught in your throat, relax that arm down. Just take the path of least resistance for the breath so that you have the room to maneuver, to explore the way you want to breathe in your body. And we're going to take that right arm, cross it over to either on top of your right knee or beyond elbow to the knee. So however twisty you want to get, decide whether you want your back knee to stay on the floor or lift up. Root into the front foot, feel the four corners of your foot extend through the spine. Deep breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. How is that diaphragm psoas connection? Can you feel the place where they come and converge a little bit in the same place? And then release and relax. Take that front knee back, child's pose. Settle your hips back toward the heels. Feel the compression in your hips, so feel free to come up and anterior tilt the pelvis a fair amount. Stretch your arms out in front of you. If you're comfortable, walk your hands over to one side of your mat. Notice the breath here. Drop some weight into the sit bones. Feel the openness through the rim of the body. Come back to center and find your way over to the other side. The neck is relaxed. The base of the skull is soft. Settle your hips down. And then come back to center. Come up onto all fours again. And feel free to move the spine around. Feel free to swish your tail around. Move anything that feels comfortable. And then eventually finding your way back to dog pose. Reach through your spine, open things up. As you ground down and yield into your hands, push off your hands to stretch and lengthen hard up to your hips. Feel the breath here. It's such a unique way to breathe when you're upside down. It's atypical from our normal pattern. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms coming up to the sky. And then shake out your hands. So we're going to take some fists. You guys have all done this with me before. Either take the fist, like an open fist, like this, where this part of your hand is hitting up against you, or palms, kind of scooped hands. So you decide, and we're going to kind of tap across our chest, and feel free to get into the lower ribs, reach whatever you can in the back. Okay? You can kind of do one hand on each side. You can get up around your neck and shoulders. Remember those accessory muscles of breathing right across your collarbones, whatever place you can tap. And you can do left, right, or simultaneously tapping. And then let's take our finger pads and tap right across our collarbones and down our sternum. If we were together in class, I'd have you doing it to each other's backs. So imagine someone tapping on your back as well. All right, and then shake out your hands. And just feel yourself breathe here in Tadasana. Close your eyes for a moment. Are your lungs just a little bit awake, alive? Lungs like massaging. So anytime you want to kind of tap yourself or percussion on your chest or on the back of your body, have your friend do it for you. That's a good thing for your breath. Feel your diaphragm. See if you can feel the pelvic floor move as you breathe. Soft knees. Yield into your feet. Long, steady exhales. Remember, the longer the exhale, the more our nervous system relaxes. I shouldn't say the longer, because you don't want to stretch it so long that you feel short of breath, but a little extra lingering in the exhale is a good thing. All right, take a deep breath. Rise up, open your chest, lean back a little bit if it feels good. Stretch through your heart. Exhale and bend your knees. Find the breath. Where do you want to inhale? Where do you want to exhale? Halfway lift and release back down. Step back to a plank. Once you come into a strong posture like this, what happens to your breath? Are you still able to feel that your diaphragm can move, that your rib cage can move, that you're nourishing yourself? Where does the core strength land on the breath? Where do you find access to your core strength the best? On the inhale or the exhale? All right, let's put our knees down if you want. Lower yourself down to the ground safely for your shoulders. Roll your shoulders a few times. See what it feels like to have some stability of those shoulder blades. And then rise up, cobra pose. Let the chest broaden. Exhale and melt back down. Let's try one more time. Inhale. Feel the muscles along your back. Work for the posture a little bit without overbearing your lumbar spine. And this time, take your arms next to you. You can either have your elbows in line with your shoulders or a little lower, whatever is comfortable for your body. Take a deep breath and just lift the upper body off the floor, hands hovering off the ground. Neck is long. Stabilize your spine with the muscles along your spine as well as with your core. Exhale and release and melt. Come back up onto all fours. Swish and sway through your spine. Find any movement. Find your breath. Discover what's available here for you. Okay. All right. And then we're going to take your right leg straight out in the air. Stabilize through your core. Okay. Find your breath. And then we're going to cross that leg. Place your foot down onto the ground. We're going to cross over the left leg. Put your right foot on the floor. Square everything to the ground. And then turn and look out over your right foot on your left side. Stretch open the side body here. Feel that space between ribs and hip open and breathe. Okay, come back to center. Let's place the other knee down onto the ground. Now our left leg is up in the air. Use your glutes, use your hamstrings, feel the connection. You can pulse a few times if you want. Integrate through your core. How is your breath? And then let's cross that foot over to the other side. Square hips and shoulders to the ground. Turn and look out over your right shoulder at your left foot. Open up that side body. Stretch from your ribs to your hips. Get some space. It's difficult to stretch your transverse abdominis. See what it feels like to open some of those attachments up. And then come back to center. Dog pose. Stretch up, lengthen. Feel the heart lift toward the pelvis. Then we're going to come down onto our forearms and lift into Pinchamayurasana arms. So we're going into dolphin pose. Lift the shoulders up away from the floor. Find the stability through a lot of musculature around your armpits, your serratus, your lats. Hug your torso a bit with your muscles. Reach your heart up toward the pelvis. And then we're going to stretch back to a forearm plank. So as you come into this posture, where is your breath? And notice if you lose it a bit, keep finding it. Relax the shoulders. Can you have a sense of stability without guarding? All right, come resting your pelvis down. Come up to Sphinx pose. Reach into the heart. Lengthen across your collarbones and then melt back toward the floor. Pick up your feet, windshield wiper your knees left and right. Okay. And then come on up onto all fours. However you'd like to soothe your back after a back bend, maybe cat-cow, maybe a twist or a swish. Find dog pose when you're ready. When you come into this posture, feel that sense of connection, the ground, Okay, feel your yielding. Yielding and breath are such good friends. Can you feel that when your hands root, when your toes root, when you have that feeling of grounding into the earth and then reaching away from the earth, pulling a little bit of that earth energy into your body and through the reach? Where's your breath in that syncopated pulse of yield and push with the earth? All right, let's lift the right leg up in the air. Take a deep breath. Exhale, knee to nose. Bring it on in. Squeeze all your breath out. Bring it out. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, bring that leg up. Exhale, think about wringing out your kitchen sponge. All your breath out. Squeeze it all out. One more time, reaching the leg. This time, we'll come into a lunge. Rise up when you're ready and turn and open to the side. Okay. Let's find Parsvokhanasana. So elbow down onto the knee, stretch open your heart. Maybe your hand just comes out to the side instead of overhead. Where can you feel that full length through your side? Try to keep your left hip from pushing forward, draw it back. Find the connection of your heel yielding, your whole foot yielding, and then rebounding through the openness in your ribs all the way to your crown. 2 feet are grounding well. All right, now to find our way into the side body length on the other side, straighten your legs for a moment, reach into a reverse triangle pose, and then come back down with your knee bent. So find your way into a reverse warrior. Open the rib cage. Notice that you turn this into a back bend. See if you can keep it awakening through the side of your body. And then one more time, coming back into Parsvokhanasana. Feel this pose. Where is your breath? All right, let's rise up. Turn your feet to the long edge of your mat. Take a goddess stance for a moment, 2 feet down. Bring your hands either on your legs or at your heart or out anywhere you want. Try not to lean forward. So we're not coming into a squat, we're upright. Spin your feet, toes turn out, heels in. Doesn't matter how high up you are or how low you are, just find what's good for your body. Open the chest. Resist the urge to collapse. Resist the urge to close yourself up and instead open yourself. Feel the grounding, the strength, the stamina, the stability, but also the openness and ease. Okay, and then stand up straight, reach your arms out, open the big breath, and then turn your feet toward the other side. Come into Parsvokhanasana here. Elbow on your knee, stretch your arm either up in the air or out or wherever you want to be. You can also have your hand on a block or on the floor. You don't have to be with elbow on the knee. Feel the roots of 2 feet. If we're working with that yielding, unlock the back knee. Give it a little bit of bend and then press into the earth to rebound through your crown. Find this moving on the breath. Round into your legs, root your feet, feel the work in your hips. Keep that back thigh moving back instead of pushing forward. All right, we're gonna stand up straight, legs straight, reach that arm up in the sky. Feel the side stretch. Okay, and then bend the knee and see if you can keep yourself side bending instead of turning this into a back bend. Side bend your body, open the rib cage. Breathe into the very base of those lungs if you can. And then one more time, finding your way into Parsvokhanasana. Elbow on your knee. Decide where you want your arm to be. Maybe overhead is taking a little too much energy for you and your breath runs away. So go wherever your breath is most capable of staying slow and steady and full, where you're not guarding, you're not hoarding, you're just moving into the flow. Shoulders are away from the ears. Rooting into 2 feet. Feel the back foot yield and then reach through the crown. All right, go ahead and come all the way back up. Let's turn toward the front of your mat, dog pose. We got those 3-legged dogs to do on the other side. So let's find 2 hands, 2 feet on the ground at first. Feel that sense of symmetry. Let your pelvis kind of return to a neutral place. And then as you're ready, lift the left leg up in the air. Square hips. Root evenly through your hands. Notice where your weight shifts. How's your breath here? Okay, we're going to squeeze out that sponge. So reach into the left leg, lift it up. Exhale, knee to nose, all your breath out. Get that last little exhale to come. Inhale, bring it back. Let's repeat it. All your breath out. All right, and then lift that leg up. Put your foot down onto the ground. Come forward into a plank. Decide, do you want your knees down? Do you want your knees up? Where is your breath most stable? So let go of the expectations that the pose has to be a certain way. Follow the breath. Wherever the breath is taking you is where you go. All right, let's find our way down onto our belly. And take your arms back behind you now, palms facing the floor. Lift the heads of the arm bones up off the ground. Take a deep breath. Maybe your legs come up too, kind of like a modified locust pose. Arms are wide. Spread open your wings a little bit. Collarbones broad. Lift the legs if you want. The back of the neck stays long. Feel your diaphragm. This is such a great pose to strengthen your diaphragm. Can you feel your body move with the movement of your diaphragm? And then relax and melt. Come back up onto all fours. Swish things around, any kind of movement potential that feels really good. All right, and then let's go ahead and relax. We're going to open the hip flexors just a little bit more. Come onto your back. Grab a block, maybe even 2 blocks, depending on how high you want to be. We're going to do some opening, starting in a regular bridge pose with the block underneath your pelvis at the low, middle, or double block height. Just make sure that the block is across your sacrum instead of in line with your sacrum so that you're supporting your SI joints. Any height that feels good. We're going to work with straightening the legs here, so lower might be better. So you discover what feels good first just to be in bridge pose. And you can adjust the angles of the blocks as we go. Open up across your collarbones, slide those shoulder blades down the back just a little bit. And first, just allow yourself a moment to rest in a supported bridge. Can you feel the openness across your chest? Is your rib cage able to move? Is it pliable? Is it bouncy with the breath? How about the back ribs? You might have a strong sensation in the front of your chest or even the sides of your ribs, but how about the back ribs? Are you compressing them so much to try to lift your chest? Can you allow the back ribs to move as well? And then follow your trail to your diaphragm. See what it feels like to move. And then now, free up the belly. See if your exhales feel and watch the belly rise and completely fall. The energy moving all the way through to your pelvis. We're going to stretch the right leg down on the ground. Heel comes down. If your body's really open and comfortable, you can do 2 legs simultaneously. You can take your legs wider or closer. You can do 1 leg at a time. So, if you're starting with just your right knee straight, you can bend your left knee so that you've got one and then the other. How is your breath? Can you open up, soften your hip flexors? Try not to press and really reach. See if there can be an element of softness in your stretch as well. It's okay to reach, but try not to have it be a hardening in your stretch. If you're doing 2 sides, switch, go to the other side, put the right foot on the ground, stretch your left heel straight out on the ground. Decide whether you want your leg a little wider than your hip, in line with your hip. Explore what feels good to open your hip flexors, and how does that relate to the way your diaphragm moves, to the way your breath is. Let's go ahead and return 2 feet on the ground. Put the block on its lowest height now so that you're not super high. And we're just going to traction the spine after some pretty intense pelvic maneuvering. You can go ahead and bring your knees toward the chest, a little bit of traction for the lumbar spine. And you can decide whether you want your knees to stay bent, whatever angle the block is at. You can also lift your legs up. So find your way, whatever feels best for your body. How's your breath? All right, and then everybody come down off the block, remove the block, get it out from underneath there, 2 feet on the floor. Take a breath here, rest your shoulders. And then let's do a twist before we're going to sit up and do a little pranayama. So take your hips over to the right, a couple of inches, bring these up, drop them left. Take a breath. If you can't reach the floor, it's totally fine to bring a block and stick it underneath your shin. Open the rib cage. Feel your shoulder relax down. Soften the base of your skull. And then inhale, lift the knees. Scoot your hips over to the other side. Knees come up and drop down. Support yourself any way you need. Discover your breath. So settle into the twist and then relax enough for the breath to come easy, fully. All right, let's go ahead and relax out of there. Lie down on your back for a moment. You can bend your knees or you can have your knees straight, whichever you want. We're just going to, before we sit up for a bit of pranayama seated, let's feel the breath here. Notice where you are an overstriver. So, when you think of doing pranayama, do you think, oh, I have to get all this breath in? And do you create more tension? So really the art of pranayama is to release tension, to cultivate so much ease and space in the body that the breath just swooshes in easily and swooshes out easily, that we don't have grips and guards along the way that prevent the natural flow of our breath. So just feel that now for a few breaths, your rib cage moving, your diaphragm, the softness of a free belly that can rise and fall easily with breath. Let your shoulders, your neck melt, all the places where you hold tension in the breath. How about your face? Can you relax your cheekbones, your tongue? All right, and then let's find our way onto our side and come up to sit. Okay, so pranayama doesn't have to be anything super fancy. It can just be the art of paying attention to your breath, but we are going to manipulate a little bit. So come to a comfortable seat where your knees are in line with your pelvis or lower so that you have the ability to have a stable pelvis where you're not rolling back. When we roll back in our pelvis, our chest tends to collapse. So find the neutral place. Open up across your collarbones. See if you can relax the shoulders. And we're going to start just with a couple of natural breaths. We're going to move into alternate nostril breathing in just a moment. But first, just settle into your breathing. Can you hear the sound of your breath? Is it a slow, meditative, peaceful pace? Is the sound soothing to you of you breathing? All right, and then to start alternate nostril breathing, you're going to take your right hand and your thumb, and you can choose ring finger is traditional, but if you want your middle finger, that's okay too. But try the thumb and ring finger, and put your fingers right at the top of your nostril. And we're not trying to deviate our septum. We want to have a nice gentleness to this. So wide collarbones, relax your shoulder, tuck your chin ever so slightly. Feel your sternum rise without pinching the back body. Check in to make sure your belly and diaphragm are soft and your spine is supported by the pelvis. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale, close off the right nostril. You're going to inhale through the left. And then you're going to pinch off the left and breathe out through the right. When you're ready, you're going to inhale through the right. And then pinch off and breathe out through the left. So the rhythm is breathe out, breathe in, then switch sides. Out, in, switch. Out, in, switch. Take your time. Find peace in this. And if you need to go blow your nose, go blow your nose. This season for a lot of allergens. Can you listen to the sound of your breath? Keep your sternum lifting gently. Collarbones are broad, shoulders soft. The chin is down. The eyes are relaxed. We're not forcing, we're just creating space, patience, time, awareness, presence. These are the gifts that we can give the breath, and these are the gifts that the breath gives us. Is your hand tense? Do you need to relax your hand? Now, you can do this practice for a long time. You don't have to do it only for 5 minutes, which is what we're doing. But you can choose to do this for a lot longer if your body really likes it. Sometimes it can be hard to stop pranayama. You get into a rhythm and it feels so good that you don't want to stop. So because we started breathing in through our left, we're going to breathe out through our left at the end. So once you come again to your exhale, out your left side of your nose, that's where we'll complete this portion of the practice. And once you are done, just enjoy breathing through two sides of your nose simultaneously. Feel it swirl up into your skull, the sinus is free. Sense of balance and ease. And we won't do this next one for very long. We're going to take same ring finger and thumb at the roots of your nostrils, high up on your nose. Chin tucked, chest broad, collarbones wide, support your spine, feel all the softness in your face, all the things, right? And we're going to pinch off our nose no more than 50%, both nostrils. You're going to breathe through a narrowed passageway. Okay, so try to have balance in how much you're pinching off, both left and right. And you can go less than 50% of your closing off, but do not go more than 50%. So you can just be ever so slight, or you can do a little bit more, but no more than about 50% of nasal closure. Go slow. Try not to force the breath. So we're never pushing pranayama. Just allow, just like a river will slow in certain places, we're going to slow the breath down so it just fits in these channels in a nice steady stream. How's the exhales? As you are ready to finish that, we're going to find our way back into Shavasana. So just before you lay down, just breathe fully through your nose. Open passageways, both sides. Clear skies. And then as you're ready, find your way back down onto your mat to rest. Notice if the pranayama has given you some clarity, if you feel like your energy just steadied itself at all. As you come to lie down on your back, enjoy the ease in your body. Rest. Feel a sense that you can soften your limbs, your belly can be relaxed. The breath is just a natural state of grace in the body. The face is continually melting. The tongue, the jaw, the eyes, the skull. Let's begin to deepen our breathing one more time. Can you just feel that your whole body breathes here for a moment? Like your skin can do the breathing? And as you're ready, and start to move, find movement in the body. And allow yourself to come onto your side as you're ready. And find your way up. Come to sit as you're ready. Take your time. Breathe deeply. And let's offer our energy outward. Sending your love, your care. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.